Let's review thesis statements and then look at examples of thesis statements for various essay types. Remember that a thesis statement is always one sentence that reveals the main idea of your essay, and the thesis statement will always be the last sentence in your introduction paragraph. For higher level writing, the thesis statement should not list the topics you will write about in your body paragraphs. An example of an incorrect thesis statement would be something like this: pollution affects the ocean, the air, and the animals. Why is this incorrect? Remember that listing topics in your thesis limits what you can write about because you only write about what is in your thesis. With this thesis, you can only write about the effects of pollution on the ocean, air, and animals. So what happens when you are assigned a very long essay? If you don't list your topics, you can write about tons of things that pollution affects instead of just 3 ways. Now let's take the same topic and look at a good example of a thesis statement. Pollution affects the world in ways that are detrimental to various aspects of the earth. Notice how this thesis statement does not list specific things that pollution affects, so you can write about anything that pollution affects in your essay because you have a broad, focused thesis statement. You could write a very long essay here if you needed to. Since different essay types require different kinds of thesis statements, let's look at each essay type and an example thesis that could work for that kind of essay. An informative essay is simply to provide information on a topic or idea. So if the topic is the development of the jazz genre, an example thesis for an informative essay might be: the musical genre of jazz dates back to the early 20th century and has changed in various ways throughout the years. Notice how this thesis is broad and focused without listing topics, so the writer can write about a ton of changes in the genre. The purpose of an argumentative essay is to persuade readers to agree with your ideas. So, if the topic is the consequences or benefits of outsourcing work and jobs to foreign countries, an example thesis statement for an argumentative essay on this topic might be: outsourcing work and jobs to foreign countries limits the economic growth and development of American society in various ways. This thesis statement does not list topics either, so you can write about a ton of ways that outsourcing jobs limits economic growth and development of society. You can also develop this thesis statement a little more without just saying "in various ways" at the end. The purpose of a literary analysis essay is either to inform or persuade the reader about some aspect of literature, but the focus will always be on the assigned text. So if the topic is women's roles and struggles in The Great Gatsby, an example thesis statement might be: The Great Gatsby by F. Scott Fitzgerald reveals the inner conflict of females who try to survive in a male-dominated society. Here, you can have each paragraph be about a female character and her issues, or you can have each paragraph be about a conflict that women face in the novel due to society. Remember that a literary analysis essay must include the title of a text, the author of a text, and the topic of your essay. The purpose of a narrative essay is to tell a story. If the essay is a personal narrative, you will typically be writing about an important event in your life and how that changed you or helped you grow as an individual. So if the topic is for you to describe a difficult situation that you have had to overcome and how that changed you, an example thesis statement might be: losing my father at a young age taught me how to continue moving forward in the face of grief. Even this type of thesis does not list topics, so you can write about any age or event in your life that helped you become who you are due to this experience. Then you would set up your paragraphs in an organized way, like explaining how this experience shaped you from beginning to end. Remember that who you are writing to and the purpose of your essay both matter. Whether you are trying to inform about a topic, persuade over an issue, tell a story, or write about literature, make sure to follow the requirements for each different essay type.